Hey everybody, you are getting ready to listen to Canary Cry News Talk. We're going live today, and I see people already jumping in live in the chat here, and I just wanted to let you know, first of all, my name's Basil, your buddy Basil here, and I want to invite all of you, if you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, any place that's not Twitch, I want to invite you to go to twitch.tv/Canary Cry Radio. It is the best place to be watching the show live, and it really helps Gons and I out, helps out the show. We are trying to hit partner over on Twitch. It's got all sorts of great tools to help us support ourselves during this time. Now, you can tune in and watch anywhere, but if you head over to twitch.tv/Canary Cry Radio, it would help Basil and Gons and the whole Canary Cry radio community build up our numbers and continue to create a way for us to support ourselves during this time. So thank you guys so much. Your essential employees are getting ready to go live soon. But until then, head to twitch.tv/Canary Cry Radio.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gons as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy.
You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is April 15th. 2020, former tax day, Gons. And this week we're on episode 188, America 2.0. My name's Basil.
And this is Gons. Welcome back to another live streamed episode of Canary Cry News Talk. I know a lot of people on the Face Like the Sun channel, well, not a lot. I will say some people on the Face Like the Sun channel don't like the fact that we're doing news talk here, but we're just, trying to
the
live
loud
stream
minority,
out everything.
Gons. That's right. The loud minority. People are loving it. And you know what? We're bringing the message, bringing the truth. And if you don't like it, that's okay. There's lots of other stuff on YouTube to watch. But if you are
I'll be honest,
and you are on...
It's your googly eyes, man. It's not really the news part. I think it's people.
I know. Well, that's the
eyes.
thing, man. We hear a lot of people going, oh, if I can't see his eyes, I don't trust him. That's okay. That's kind of what radio is. And the alternative logic is if you can see somebody's eyes, that you would trust them. And I'll let you guys follow that logic for yourself. But that's not what we're about here. We're focusing not on the haters, on the lovers. And Canarians are tuning in all over the place. I want to say a big thank you to everybody tuning in on the Facebook, the Canary Cry Radio Facebook, the Face Like the Sun YouTube, the Periscope, hitting Twitch all over the world. And yeah, especially thank you to those tuning in on Twitch. If you are not yet watching on Twitch and you're watching on Facebook because you want to give Susan Wojcicki all your money and your attention, you know what? That's okay. You'll just have to answer to God for that sometime later. But if you want to help out this show and Basil and Gons supporting themselves during this tough time, the easiest way to do that is to head to twitch.tv/Canary Cry Radio. We are trying to get our numbers up there so we can hit partner and unlock all sorts of fun tools. It'll really bump up the experience for everybody. And that's just where all the cool kids are. So if you're a cool kid, head over to twitch.tv/Canary Cry Radio. But, Gons, more importantly, we are here to discuss current events and what it means for the future. And that being said, it's time for a Flippy Update.
Flippy Update.
Flippy Update.
Do you want fries with that?
Okay, for those who
So,
don't know, if you are a new listener, Flippy is our colloquial name for disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. But here's the thing. Flippy is not just a cute robot that flips burgers. He is a symbol and a doorway for the coming technocalypse. And a lot of people think we have fun with these Flippy updates, but really it's an important practice in tracking the future use of robotics and technology, and the easy, fun, and cute ways that it's invading our lives and getting us locked in without us even knowing it. So I just want to make sure everybody knows these Flippy updates, we have fun with them, but some of our most serious predictions and tracking has come from these Flippy updates. So here we go. We're going to do a Flippy update. Gons, you got some clips for us. Hit us with those clips.
I do. And so to set it up, this is Mark Cuban. He was on with Pompliano, his podcast. And I have a couple clips because it's relevant to the Flippy update. Again, like you mentioned, we kind of have fun with it. We have the fun jingle and that kind of stuff. But it is kind of a serious topic in terms of how it applies to especially where we are now with the economy. And I'm going to play a couple clips here. This first one is a little bit longer, but I think it's worth going through because it directly relates to the economic situation that we find ourselves in. And so here we go. This is Mark Cuban, as most of you guys know, billionaire owner of the Dallas Mavericks. Oh, hold on real quick. Here we go. Oops. This is taking longer than I thought. Here we go.
We're going to have to give serious consideration to things like a robotics tax. If you've got a job that could be done by an individual and you're paying a robot $25 an hour to weld, then let's hit that with the same 12.4 or 12.6, I forget, for the Social Security tax. And let's take 9% of that and put it into Social Security and the Treasury Fund, and let's put 3 point whatever percent into investing into robotics research for the country. Because we don't lead the world in robotics, whether it's software or manufacturing of robots. We're behind Germany, we're behind Japan, we're behind China. And the only way we're going to bring back jobs and the only way we're going to bring back manufacturing from overseas, no matter what country it is, whether it's Asian, Mexico, whatever it is through robotics. We're going to have to out-engineer. We're going to have to out-innovate those manufacturing alternatives that are less expensive because of lower payrolls and less climate restrictions and all those things, right? We're going to have to work on robotics to bring all that manufacturing back, work on battery life, work on manual dexterity, work on the software. Because if we can do that and lead the world, we can get that manufacturing back. It won't be America manufacturing 1.0 with assembly lines and people sewing, but all the inherent jobs that come with dominating worldwide manufacturing, whether it's support, maintenance, monitoring, software, whatever it may be, the aggregate employment would be much higher and the pay would be much higher, even for people with not defined skills, than it would be just trying to recreate manufacturing 1.0.
So there's Mark Cuban there. He goes on to talk about how we should also tax cloud services because that's where AI sits. And so if we tax the AI basically doing their thing, then we can reallocate some of those funds to further research AI, but also to help out with your general, public money. What do you think, Basil? This is where the rubber meets the road in terms of robotics and coming mainstream and the economics and how it can all work out. We've been projecting this for a long time, but certainly the whole virus thing accelerated just the whole process.
Yeah. Well, this is an interesting one. And for those who, have a problem with the Flippy updates, this is the prime example of why we follow what we follow. Because as I've mentioned before, and as we like to say here, Flippy, as cute and as novel as Flippy was, it really is the doorway and the gateway, if you will, into progressing what this new economy will look like. And what he's saying here is kind of an interesting Hegelian dialectic, because if we say robots are the problem. Robots taking jobs are going to put people out of work. Automation,
right.
When it happened in the manufacturing industry, in cars, and a lot of these sort of American-centric manufacturing, when the robots came in, it made a huge impact on, those workers. I mean, regular people trying to make a living, and it put people out of a well, so there's the problem. And the Hegelian response to that is no, no, no. Look, it's okay. We don't need to be afraid of these robots taking our jobs. In fact, we need to make more robots taking our jobs. We need to make all the robots we can. And we need to become number one in manufacturing and taking care of robots. So the problem being presented is these robots are going to take our jobs. And the dialectic coming in is, well, that's okay. We need to be the best and make the most robots, because that's how we're going to bring manufacturing back to the United States. We're just going to be a country filled with people who make robots, which in turn, make our lives whatever easier would be the idea, something like that. So, this doesn't surprise me, but of course, Mark Cuban, one of the most famous, billionaires, owns sports teams, on Shark Tank. He really is kind of like our president. He's a reality TV guy, and especially interesting because Shark Tank, the show, if anybody's aware, it's a show where you come on and show your product or your invention, and you get billionaires to invest and help you out. I mean, he's basically saying here, hey, come on Shark Tank, show me all your robots. Let's get this done. And America 2.0, the economy especially, we again going into the Hegelian dialectic, the problem being not just coronavirus, but the impact it's having on the economy. And the answer to our economic woes is more robots. We need more robots. We need to tax those robots, and then we need to get everybody in America devoted to building more robots. It's really it's a straight line, into the sort of technocratic future that we like to focus on, or track. We do focus on it, but we do it for tracking purposes. And, along with robotics and manufacturing, which ties into a lot of virtual reality and augmented reality, things like that. This is a big step. If you're out there wondering why we're watching Mark Cuban and talking about a dumb robot named Flippy, this has way more implications on our future if you take a second to analyze it and dissect it.
Yeah, we're having some really bad connection issues and buffering issues.
Oh, no,
like.
Not again.
Yeah, like my OBS is flashing yellow and red, so it's probably.
I'm seeing
good.
that. It's very angry.
Yeah, it's not looking too hot, but that's why we have the audio podcast version to have everything cleaner.
That's
after
right.
The fact.
If you're watching this live and you're very sad that it's choppy or not going well, that's okay. Keep watching it live, especially if you're over on twitch.tv/Canary Cry Radio. But we also, and a lot of people don't know this, we've been doing this podcast version for almost a decade. So you can head to iTunes or any podcast player, and you can catch a much higher quality audio version on the podcast. But there you go. Keep that in mind for when the show's over.
Yeah. So getting back to the Mark Cuban thing here. So yeah, the American dream can be achieved if every man in America had an army of robots, right? That's kind of the mindset of the whole America 2.0. It kind of jives with the Zoltan Istvan Upgrade America slogan. And just as an update, Zoltan stepped down. I think, did we report on that? I don't remember if we did, but he basically stepped down from the Republican Party. We might have in the past, but we've been tracking him, and we noticed, he was running for the Transhumanist Party. Then he left that and decided to run as a Republican, and now he stepped away. Now he's running as a Libertarian. So he's a chameleon too, transhuman chameleon, politically.
A lot of very interesting libertarians, running for president or switching over to, we got Vermin Supreme. We got Zoltan Istvan.
It's starting to happen, and Mark Cuban here too as well. He claims to be a libertarian in this interview. So there's one more clip that I wanted to play because the vision Mark Cuban has of the future because of the virus is pretty interesting. If you thought we were going to be in our phones, I mean, if you thought we're already, too much in our phones, check this out.
But what I do think the government needs to do is very clearly set standards on cleanliness and presentation, right? And information, so that if you're going to the park and there's a park bench and you want to bring your grandma there, you want to see a seal of approval that says this was the last time this bench was sanitized, right? And it may be an app where you just pointed at it. It may be AR where it shows to whatever it may be. They're going to have to be things that the government sets as standards that are confidence builders for us.
So if you want to bring grandma, if you want to bring grandma to the park, Basil, before she sits down, wait, hold on, hold on, got to get the
bust out
the phone out.
Your AR, your VR. And again, this ties in with stuff we've been tracking for so long. Hit me with that VR and AR jingle, Guns. Virtual reality. That's right. Virtual reality update. That's part of the reason why I am wearing my virtual reality mask right now. I'm getting used to working in the VR space. I'm in my very fancy computer-generated office right now. And here's the thing. As Mark Cuban just said, augmented reality being one of those situations where it's going to become a normal part of life. And this ties in with facial recognition, ties in with even gaming. Things like Pokemon Go are based on augmented reality, but it's also kind of harkens back to a Google Glass situation, which never caught on. But I think there might be a second version coming, and that is through your phone, through wearable technology, you're able to look at objects, real objects in the real world, and get data feedback on them. And that's what Mark's talking about with this bench idea, specifically to the coronavirus. You want to know if this bench is safe for grandma, and the government will have a database on when the last time that bench was disinfected. Yeah, well, you pull out your little phone, you point it at the bench, and your phone will tell you whether or not that specific bench has been cleaned recently, disinfected recently. And the problem with this is, or the scary part of this is, now we get a lot of people who think we pay way too much attention to technocracy, that we're sort of neo-Luddites and we're against technology. That's not necessarily the truth. I mean, I'm wearing a VR mask. I'm doing it for you people. And the problem is that we're not against technology, we're not neo-Luddites, but it's very much tied into the control mechanism. We here generally believe that the government shouldn't have ultimate control. We do believe that each one of us has a right to some sort of privacy. Now, here's the problem with the AR and the bench. Is Pokemon Go. Everybody here remember Pokemon Go? Just for a little bit of a background for those who don't know, Pokemon Go is a game you play on your phone. It mixes reality with augmented reality, and you just kind of use it to catch Pokemon, play the game, etc. But it is through great research that a lot of people have done, and that has shown itself to be true. Pokemon Go has very close ties with the intelligence network of the United States, and thus, the global infrastructure of intelligence, government intelligence. And what was happening was Pokemon Go, you point your phone, it shows a video of what you're pointing it at, whether it's in your house or on, out in the park or something like that. And you got to do this to play the game, but it's capturing those images and being used to create 3D models of not just like roadways, like Google Maps has their Google cars going around taking pictures of all the roadways. But now we equipped children to go take pictures of the inside of buildings, in alleyways. And those images are stitched together to make a comprehensive map of basically every corner of the country, and by extension, the world, all the places that Pokemon Go can be used. Now, this is the same type of concept with the park bench and grandma and using AR to take a picture of the bench and get the data on when it was cleaned. But now we're equipping grown adults, those who might not play Pokemon Go, but we're equipping them because of their concern about coronavirus to also be basically data points to input pictures of every corner of everything into the massive intelligence infrastructure. And we've gone over it before, so I'll let everybody take the logic from there. But Gons, I'm on my VR headset here. I'm in my VR office doing research, seeing how this is going to affect our future. And I have been getting lots of advertisements. Can you bring up that advertisement that I keep getting? Because this is very funny.
No,
they're on to me.
I have browsers freezing. I have like computer not working. This is like a kind of a disaster over here. Like everything's failing right now. This is a really, really bad situation going on with the live stream. So we apologize for everyone if you guys are able to even hear us right now because, computer's freaking out. Browser frozen.
Got it
right now.
Okay, well, I'll just continue.
And
talking.
Hopefully let's all pray. I'm waiting for stuff to work.
Lord Jesus, help our internet connection and help Gon's computer bring us back into full working order so we can continue doing the job here. They obviously don't like us sharing this information, so we're being sabotaged.
Apparently
but this advertisement that I keep getting is for something called Relief Band.
Sorry, go ahead.
And Relief Band says this: did your virtual reality turn into motion sickness reality? Get relief from VR motion sickness. And it's this little Apple Watch thing, kind of looks like a Fitbit, and supposedly it's supposed to take away my nausea from using virtual reality. Now, luckily, I do not suffer from the motion sickness some people describe while using VR. I do get the headaches once in a while, but this is another example.
It's not good for your brain,
of
man.
A sort of Hegelian. It's another Hegelian situation where we give you VR. The problem is it makes you sick, gives you motion sickness. And the solution is we give you this little Fitbit that supposedly, I don't know how it's supposed to work, but it's supposed to take away your nausea. But as we know with Fitbit and Apple Watch and all these other things, they are used quite a bit to track your health, track your motion, track your heart rate, track your location. There was that story a while back about soldiers in the U.S. military who were wearing Fitbits, and Fitbit was recording movement from soldiers, which is a huge problem when it comes to national security. So, here's the thing. Get your virtual reality on. You're going to get sick, but don't worry. We made you this little Fitbit to wear, and this will take away it'll take away your motion sickness, but it'll also take away a little bit more of your freedom. So
are you sure this isn't just I was going to say, are you sure this isn't just one of those placebo effects, where you wear those little bracelets and
that's the whole point. It may be a placebo effect. I don't know how wearing a little tracking device will take away your motion sickness. But it is a little tracking device. It's whether or not it takes away your motion sickness, it will make sure that we can keep tabs on you. And that's the problem. So there you go. That's all I got.
Okay. All right. Thank you for talking while we were trying to figure out what the heck was going on with the live stream. It looks like we're doing okay now. We're back to green on the stream here. But we have I saw some people talking about PSYOPs earlier, so we have a PSYOP story here.
This was an NSA-style hybrid war PSYOPs.
And I'm saying Twitter today was trending with hashtag how 2020 could get worse. And I just, why do you need to make that trend? All these people on Twitter just stewing in the negativity, But this tweet was kind of interesting that I'm looking at here. Well, you could read the rest of the news stories from the past week, and it's all natural disasters. Wildfires edge closer to Chernobyl nuclear plant. BBC News. You had awakening volcanic region in Iceland could cause disruption for centuries. That's some Iceland outlet there. Deadly tornadoes in the south cause catastrophic damage. And Krakatoa volcano erupts, spewing plumes of ash 9 miles into the air. So stuff going on around the world. And yeah, I was hearing people talk about, phase two. And I mean, yeah, it's all part of the process here in terms of the teardown, the reset, right? You gotta break down the old to bring in the new.
That's interesting. I mean, of course, there's things to delve in there. First of all, some biblical references that I think you should speak to while we're here, but also, in some unreported things in the mainstream media about the ability for governments and certain companies to manufacture weather disasters as well as things like earthquake machines, which sounds silly, but I'll let people give a Google to earthquake machines. Earthquake machines have been around for at least 100 years. It's not as difficult as it sounds. Good old Nikola Tesla made his earthquake machine. And using electromagnetic bursts, especially in things like CERN, has been known to cause earthquakes around Switzerland there. And, you can also affect volcanic systems because, lava and volcanic systems are closely tied in with molten metal, which can be manipulated with high-powered magnets and other EMF things.
Yeah. I was just mentioning HARP and just all the stuff that they've HARP that they allegedly shut down, right? But shut down with air quotes. CERN definitely. I remember back in 2016, maybe 2015, we were tracking CERN a lot on the Face Like the Sun channel, and because they were firing up the collider, and there was a big earthquake in Nepal that was pretty devastating, and there was a lot going on at that time as well, with airplanes going missing, and it was a strange time that I think if anyone goes back in hindsight and sort of traces a little bit of what's transpired since then, you can connect some dots and really get a fuller picture of what's happening now and why. But yeah, in terms of the biblical stuff, Jesus talking in Matthew 24 about there will be earthquakes in diverse places and wars and rumors of wars, which is pretty consistent here. But also Romans 8 talks about how the earth is groaning, the creation is groaning for the revealing of the sons of God. So, creation itself is the sin virus, as I kind of mentioned in Age of Deceit 3, is sort of an analogy of the infection of creation because of sin. So, just a reminder that we're in a spiritual war here, that we talk about all these issues and physical things, but that's been the message since day one. So
I've really
even
been
with the googly
enjoying
eyes.
I've really been enjoying all the memes on Facebook and other places about how much worse could 2020 get, and it'll be March, everybody wearing their masks and hiding from coronavirus, and then April will show the Death Star hovering or the Godzilla off in the distance. Really, we could expect anything at this point. Now, before we go into our next story, I wanted to again thank everybody for watching live, no matter where you are: YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, and especially Twitch. Just to let everybody know, Gons and I are only essential employees of this podcast, and we are feeling the economic effects just like everybody else. And we'll talk a little bit more about how you can get involved later. But one of the best ways that you can help us out right now, we need to average 75 viewers on our stream over on twitch.com, and that's over a 30-day period. Now that sounds easy, but we've got hundreds and hundreds of people watching live, but only 71 watching over on twitch.tv/Canary Cry Radio. So even if you guys want to watch, you'd rather watch on YouTube or Facebook or something, please just type in twitch.tv/Canary Cry Radio and just have that running also. We need to get our numbers up over on Twitch. We're at 71. We need to average 75, which means, we need to get significantly more. So even if 10% of you head over and open up Twitch, that would help us out a lot. And we're trying to hit partner over there. It'll open up a lot of fun possibilities for our live streaming. So please just help us out. Some people like it, some people don't. We got Jorbus jumped into the Twitch. Thank you very much, Jorbus. And a bunch more people jumping over too. So thank you very much. We're going to twitch.tv/Canary Cry Radio. Okay, what's next, Gons?
So first off, someone's asking in the chat why you're embracing the transhumanism.
Yeah.
With the VR goggles.
Troll alert. As I've said many times before, it's our job to track these things. People are trying...
What people don't realize is that Basil actually is just doing all these episodes blindfolded, basically. There's nothing actually showing in his eyes. There's no proof that you're actually looking at VR.
I'm just looking at a black screen.
Yeah.
Black
so that people should be impressed by that. But yeah, anyway. Yes, we're dealing with this virus, and we have all these social rules about distancing ourselves. I got yelled at, by the way, Basil. I got yelled at yesterday.
Ooh, you finally got turned in.
I did, yeah. But it was just in my neighborhood. I was just walking with my daughter, and a lady came out on the balcony and started shaking her fist and yelling, saying, "It's dangerous out there," and no. And it was I didn't say anything, but it was kind of sad actually. It looked like she hadn't been outside in a while. So.
Yeah,
I think
it's really starting to affect people.
Yeah,
it's really starting to make people turn into nasty sort of snitches, man. And that's part of the control mechanism. One of the best ways to control a population is to get them to control each other. Much easier to get individuals to control their neighbors than it is to get the government to come in and control you. So it's part of the whole system. It's very sad if you're out there and you're yelling at people who are just trying to play catch with their daughter in the park and they're being responsible. The guy who got arrested for paddleboarding alone in the ocean because of not social distancing. That's one of the first ways that you control a population is you get them to control each other. So if I can get one person to change their mind about yelling at their neighbors about walking their dog, this whole thing is worth it.
Yes. And so when is it going to end? When is it going to end, Basil? Apparently we have to keep distancing ourselves because
it will kill.
It will kill. Here, let me read this one. This is theguardian.com. Coronavirus distancing may need to continue until 2022. Oh my gosh.
No.
Physical distancing measures may need to be in place intermittently until 2022. Scientists have warned in an analysis that suggests there could be resurgences of COVID-19 for years to come. Okay, my cat is yelling at me. Okay.
So your cat is real. This is the first time we're actually seeing the cat visually.
Yes. This cat. Oh yeah. Okay. It's okay, kitty. Settle down. She doesn't like the idea that we have to social distance for 2 more years. She
She's
wants me
really
out of the
upset about it.
house. She's tired of me being in her way. The paper published in the journal Science concludes that a one-time lockdown will not be sufficient to bring the pandemic under control, and that secondary peaks could be larger than the current one without continued restrictions. One scenario predicted a resurgence could occur as far in the future as 2025 in the absence of a vaccine or effective treatment. Man, that would be nice if they didn't come out with a vaccine until 2025, buy us a couple more years.
Yeah.
Mark Lipsitch, a professor of epidemiology at Harvard and co-author of the study, said, quote, infections spread when there are two things, infected people and susceptible people. Unless there is some enormously larger amount of herd immunity than we are aware of, the majority of the population is still susceptible. Predicting the end of the pandemic in the summer of 2020 is not consistent with what we know about the spread of infections. In its daily briefings, the UK government has not outlined plans beyond the current restrictions, but the latest paper adds to a building scientific consensus that physical distancing may be required for considerably longer in order to keep case numbers within hospitals' critical care capacity. Papers released by the government's Scientific Advisory Group for Emergencies in March suggested that the UK would need to alternate between periods of more and less strict physical distancing measures for a year to have a plausible chance of keeping the number of critical care cases within capacity. The prospect of intermittent distancing raises difficult questions about what guidance will be given to high-risk groups, including over 70s and those with compromised immune systems. It may be possible to relax distancing measures periodically while maintaining cases within a volume that health services can cope with. But the grave health risks of infection to some people will remain the same until a vaccine or highly effective treatment are available. New treatments, a vaccine, or increasing critical care capacity could alleviate the need for stringent physical distancing, according to the paper in Science. Quote, but in the absence of these, surveillance and intermittent distancing may need to be maintained into 2022,
No,
the authors.
2022.
Yeah.
That's surveillance.
Yep, surveillance and intermittent
No good.
distancing. And this kind of goes into what this is one of the things we actually called pretty early on, was that this is not a one-time thing. This will be, at best, this will be a yearly occurrence, sort of like the flu season. There will be the COVID season where for, whatever, let's call it
for a month
November
or two
to April, everybody has to social distance, and there'll just be normal 4-month periods where they want to remind you that they're in control, they're watching, and you are a danger to yourself. Trust your government.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, there's nothing else to say about it other than I hope it really doesn't go into 2022.
Yeah, I'm just skimming this article here to see if there's any more important details to bring up. But I think that's the basic read that we're getting right now. The article ends with, quote, it is important to recognize that it is a model. It is consistent with current data, but is nonetheless based on a series of assumptions. For example, about acquired immunity that are yet to be confirmed. The study should therefore be regarded as suggesting possible scenarios rather than making firm predictions. And that's one of the biggest problems, is all we have right now are models. And these are mathematical models that really you get whatever outcome they want. They can get the outcome by inputting the whatever inputs that they want. And that was one of the biggest problems with the study that came out from the Imperial College over in the UK, where they were saying 2 million are gonna die, it's gonna be horrible. What they failed to tell people was that they just had to make up assumptions and numbers. And this is not me just going off. This is cataloged
It's
and
like documented, yeah.
documented and put out, sometimes even in mainstream or mainstream adjacent outlets, that they basically just made up a bunch of numbers and made a model and then told everybody they were going to die. So there you go. I don't know.
And you can start at start at the end, so to speak. Oh, we need something where 2 million people end up dying. Okay, well, let's move backwards from that conclusion. What would it look like? Oh, a virus spreads and blah 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 blah, and you get back to the beginning of it all, and then here we are. The reality timeline lines up with this simulation timeline, and look where it can go. And so, of course, and within a presentation to political leaders, that can be very scary. That could be very useful if you're going to be an infiltrator of sorts into those types of situations. But Basil, my favorite, non-favorite subject, the
blockchain.
Yay! Yeah, let's talk about a little bit of blockchain. Enough with this COVID nonsense.
Yeah. We gotta stop talking about that. Let's talk about this. This is cryptobriefing.com. Central banks recommended to ban stablecoins. Central banks push for heavy-duty regulation of centralized, privately issued global stablecoins and consider prohibiting decentralized ones. Fiat-pegged cryptocurrencies are coming under scrutiny based on recommendations from the Financial Stability Board, who I remember voting for the Financial Stability Board to control our money. Basil, do you remember that?
I don't. You voted for them?
Oh, was it a dream? Maybe did they implant dreams in my brain? No, I don't remember doing that.
Funny boy. You're being a funny boy.
No, we don't vote for these people, but they just so if anybody doesn't know, a stable coin in the cryptocurrency world is basically a 1-to-1 to either the U.S. dollar. There's stable coins for other fiat currencies from other nations, but basically the idea is instead of it's kind of challenging to go from your fiat to cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin or Litecoin or whatever. So there's kind of an on-ramp in between, which is the stable coin. So, and people use it for trading and stuff like that.
Yeah. The basic concept is a cryptocurrency whose value does not fluctuate.
Right. It stays at the dollar. Yeah. So let me go through this just real briefly here. And I actually looked at the document that they referenced, but it was kind of long and it's verbagey.
Yeah, and for those who wonder why we're talking about cryptocurrency and you're anti-Bitcoin or something, we'll analysis is coming and we'll connect it. It's all connected, people.
Yes. Today, the Financial Stability Board released a document addressing the regulatory, supervisory, and oversight challenges raised by global stablecoins. The document, although only consultative in nature, reveals disturbing plans for a globally coordinated move against stablecoins of all varieties. The FSB makes 10 high-level recommendations addressed to central banks and G20 authorities at the jurisdiction level. More specifically, they recommend a unified global approach to the supervision and regulation of the fiat-pegged cryptocurrencies. Furthermore, the FSB suggests to authorities that if they can't control and regulate fully decentralized stablecoins, they should consider banning them.
Jeez.
Yeah, so, and we don't have to go through all the details of everything here, but effectively, we're talking about the IMF and the world organizations coming in and trying to regulate it because, and we've talked about this before, they have their own CBDCs, central bank digital currencies that they've been developing, the kits to, get these other central banks around the world to start making this. It's been out there for I think a year and a half or something now. Mm-hmm. So they've been working on it. And of course, if you're going to have an in-between from your normal traditional fiat world to a crypto world, it has to be government issued or central bank issued, right? We can't have this just wild west. Whoever comes up with a stable coin can, handle all this money, these dollars,
right,
or whatever denomination, whatever currency. But it's interesting because, again, this is all about control. It's about power. The idea of decentralization is to distribute the power so a central authority can't control it. So yeah. This is an actual. It's really fascinating to consider because cryptocurrencies in general. And I know some of you guys watching the stream saw a little bit of the screen earlier, but basically we were at I'm just going to go to one CoinMarketCap, which is a basic place where people can look at the price of cryptocurrencies. And the entire market cap is still under, I don't see the scrolling thing here, under $200 billion. So that's the entirety of the whole market. But the world economy, what is it? Trillions, billions, quintillions, or whatever dollars in derivatives. The regular legacy market is huge. Yet this cryptocurrency market, which is only 200 billion, which is a little more than Jeff Bezos, right? It's
Right.
like that territory. They're threatened by these stable coins to the point
that's
where
exactly right. I mean, for those who know, there's Bitcoin, which is wildly volatile in its value. And as a response to that, of course, the establishment doesn't like Bitcoin, a currency that they cannot control. In a response to that, I mean, it was really the cryptocurrency market trying to show that they can be responsible by creating these stable coins, which do not fluctuate in value. They're simply just a stable store of value. It's not there to threaten anybody's wealth or to really create wealth or do anything like that. They're just there to be a responsible use of cryptocurrency. And, those who are into the decentralized nature of authority, they don't want to, they're not stoked on a central government. They think, that the world can be much better without submitting to an authority. They came out with these stable coins saying like, that's okay. We can be cool. We're cool. Look, the problem with that is that the central banks want they are threatened. They want their own stable coin. The USD digital dollar, is essentially just a stable coin, something that's existed forever. Not forever, but it's not necessarily new. And the problem is that these central banks, they want to make their own stablecoin. They want to be able to control the economy, even the, crazy sort of side economy of cryptocurrency. As we know here, just to remind people that a United States digital dollar was included in the coronavirus relief bill, at least a couple of the first drafts. I don't think it made it all the way through, but it shows that they are thinking about it, they are working on it. And the problem is nobody wants their dumb, centrally controlled United States digital dollar if there are already stable coins that are connected to the digital dollar. Connected to the USD. So,
right.
This is just another step in trying to control everything about the economy. And, of course, we can't let the citizens of the world, the various nations, take currency into their own hands and decide what has value for themselves. They need to be told what has value, and anything that threatens that needs to be destroyed. And that's just what we're seeing. It's really kind of I don't know. I don't want to be
overhype it.
I don't want to be too vulgar or anything, but it really shows a lot of impotence on the side of the central banks and those. What was this committee called?
The FSB, the Financial Stability Board.
Financial Stability Board.
Yeah, cool. I mean, I don't know who they are, but they're like, these are the rules now. You guys should ban it. I don't know. Yeah. It's look, there's problems within. There's a lot of corruption in cryptocurrencies within the world of crypto. But again, it's such a small market. Unless there's a real fundamental threat to these existing central banks, they wouldn't be doing this. They wouldn't be saying ban it. And the thing is, some people have said, well, they can ban crypto with different ways or like ban Bitcoin specifically. And the thing that's really trippy about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in general, but specifically with Bitcoin, you can memorize your private key and there's nothing for the government to confiscate other than you. They can confiscate you because you have the private key memorized in your brain, but otherwise you don't have anything physical necessarily tangible that they can confiscate. So they're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place with that. That's why they're going after the stable coins. That's an on-ramp they can control and they can monitor and they can get a cut off of. So, yep, this is the same battle, the centralization versus decentralization that's been going on for a long time.
Yeah.
And it has to do with the whole shifting the economy and America 2.0, the whole topic of this discussion today. And money's going to be a big part of it. And I do, before you go on here, Basil, I do have a clip from, just briefly, from Ray Dalio, who's this billionaire. We got billionaire clips today for some reason.
Ooh, billionaires.
Because they're just out there talking a lot right now. This is Ray Dalio.
That's pretty much all they do nowadays.
That's yeah. So here he is talking about a familiar topic to most of us.
Because the greatest force is the force of adaptation and inventiveness if we can operate well together. So that's what I think it's going to look like over this period of time. It'll pass. The world will be very different. There'll be a new world order. But it will pass, and we'll be inventive, because what we're dealing with now is just money and credit. Money and credit is just digital. I mean, there is real goods, services, those are real. But everything else is just accounting.
A new world order can emerge.
There you go.
Wow. And
billionaire said it. New world order.
Go. Wow. Billionaires love the New World Order. I'm so happy that they're happy. All right. Before we move on to our next story, I want to give a shout out to Sarah O'Bell. Says, woo, I made it to Canary Cry Twitch. That's right. If you are watching this on YouTube or Facebook or wherever you're watching this, please consider, even in addition, you don't have to leave your beloved YouTube. That's okay. You can stay over on YouTube, but also open up twitch.tv/Canary Cry Radio. We hit 100 live viewers over there, which is great, but we need to get that number up, because we got to get the average to 75 live viewers over a 30-day period. So if you're over there at YouTube or Facebook or wherever you are, you don't have to leave necessarily if you don't want to leave YouTube, but please, it really helps Gons and I out if you also open up twitch.tv/Canary Cry Radio. We are trying to get to the level of partner over there. It's going to help Gons and I out a lot during this current economic situation. Gons and I we are not essential employees of anything except this podcast. So our entire income comes from doing this podcast. It comes from the ways that we're able to get support through the podcast. And here's the problem is we are fully, against selling advertisement on the podcast. We do not believe in harnessing your attention and then selling that attention to corporations for our own personal gain. Now, that being said, as I've said before, that's a bad business model for podcasters. So we are unable to make money in the traditional sense. But if you head to twitch.tv/Canary Cry Radio, you are helping us build a system that we can support ourselves and keep doing this show. We only support ourselves through this show because of what's called the value for value model. And that is very simple. We create value and we put it out there. And if you see it and you gain value from what we do, it's up to you then to put value back into the system. It's the only way to do it. It's completely voluntary. But just remember, we're doing this show 3 times a week because we believe in what we're doing. We believe we're bringing value to you listeners. So if you listeners out there find value in what we do, it's now up to you. It's your job. One easy way is by going to twitch.tv/Canary Cry Radio. Or if you are in an economic situation where you've got a couple extra bucks a month and you want to, and you think what we do is worth a couple bucks to you, you can head to patreon.com/CCNT for Canary Cry News Talk. And you can sign up there for all sorts of fun levels of support. That supports us, helps feeds Gon's kids, helps feeds my cats. This is the only thing we have. And if you don't like Patreon, we also have bonus episodes and all sorts of fun stuff over there on the Patreon. But if you don't like Patreon, we understand a lot of people don't like Patreon. That's totally cool. But you can go to canarycryradio.com/support. And there's PayPal. There's all sorts of other fun ways to support us over there. We've had some very heartwarming support coming through the PayPal. Thank you guys so much. Gonza's kids get to eat for another day because of your help. And while we're just coming off the topic of cryptocurrency, Gonz has a fun announcement for everybody.
I do?
Oh, I thought you said you were announcing something.
Oh, I was going to skip a story, but I mean, I can announce that, I guess I'll tell everybody. It doesn't matter. Some people already know. Child number 3.
Oh
baby
my
number
gosh.
2, Basil.
This is a new announcement.
It's coming. It's happening. I will be adding to the coronavirus baby boom.
The COVID the COVIDennials. Coronannials.
COVID baby, whatever. Yeah.
You're gonna have 3 extra mouths to feed, Gonz.
Well, 2, and then 1 should be doing it on her own soon here. So,
well, that's very
praying.
Exciting, Gonz. That's
very so thank
fun.
you guys for your support.
Yeah,
everybody.
I think it's
it
very fun for everybody
difference.
else. So there you go. We've got another Canary Cry baby coming on the way, folks. If you want to say congratulations to Gonz, go to canarycryradio.com.
I see it in the chat. Thank you, everybody. That's very so cool. Nice. That's really awesome. We'll find out if it's a boy or a girl in the next few days here. So I'll let everybody know if I'm going to be outnumbered 4-1, or if I'm going to have a partner in crime. So we'll find out.
Ninja boy.
Yes, and just to start wrapping it up here, before we go to our Nephilim update, because we have one, and because we talked about cryptocurrencies here, I did put together a page. This is for if you're more technical, if you're kind of tech savvy. If you go to canarycryradio.com/crypto, we have a little tutorial / kind of a description, just an outline of sort of our views on decentralization and cryptocurrencies in general. And we actually set up a website on the decentralized web, Basil. It's pretty cool. It's canarycry.crypto. Let me see if I have it here. Let me double check before I start hitting tabs.
Yeah,
there you go.
Well, just while you do that,
there it is.
If you want to learn more about what cryptocurrency is, and not just cryptocurrency, but decentralization. Right now, as the internet works, it's very centralized. It's all run off of servers owned by companies. And part of the reason why, our connection may be bad, or our internet is throttled, or, censorship is a big part of it. All those things can happen because of centralized control over our internet. And when we talk about decentralized internet, it is pretty technical, but I'll just say it is censorship resistant and much more resistant to all sorts of controls that are doing things like keeping the truth hidden, censoring certain individuals and information, things like that. So we're very excited to be kind of on the front line of this decentralized internet. And what's the link if they want to just go learn about our thoughts about decentralization and things like that?
So canarycryradio.com/crypto is where you can get the lowdown of everything that we were talking about here. But you can't type in canarycry.crypto into your browser and visit this decentralized website. There's a little bit of a learning curve there because it's not really user-friendly yet. There's a browser called the Unstoppable Domains browser. If you download that, I go through the whole tutorial there on the canarycryradio.com/crypto. So you can, the cool thing though, the interesting thing here, Basil, is not just the fact that we have this address, canarycry.crypto, as a website on the decentralized web, But that's actually a way we can accept cryptocurrencies as gifts or donations. Or if you just want to, send a little bit of crypto or a little Satoshi our way, you can do that now instead of, or, you got to use some of the exclusive wallets that are really doing it right now. But again, I go through some of that tutorial on the page. But yeah, you can send it to us. You can send us Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, Dash, Monero.
All sorts of fun
There's two
stuff.
more. Dogecoin. We got to do Dogecoin, right? Because Elon Musk mentioned Dogecoin.
Gotta
So
do
we're
Doge.
accepting some Doge. And yeah, there you go.
So go to canarycryradio.com/crypto just for education purposes. There's a lot of great information. If you want to know more about decentralization, the decentralized internet, all that stuff is on that page, canarycryradio.com/crypto, a great educational source. It'll teach you how to get on the decentralized web, and you can check out Canary Cry Radio now more than ever is censorship resistant, which is something that's going to become increasingly more important. And if you're out there and you value truth, you value freedom, especially on the internet, you're going to want to start learning about the decentralized internet, because it is going to become more and more a part of, what we have to do to get the truth out there, to preserve truth, to not be victims of the ministry of truthiness. If you believe in doing your own research and finding out the truth and not just gobbling up whatever pap the government wants to give you, then you're going to want to learn about the decentralized internet. You can learn about that at canarycryradio.com/crypto. Check it out. And again, remember, if you're out there and you're a crypto person, you can help support us with cryptocurrency, because there's another Canary Cry baby coming, people. Ah!
I know. And also the story, we have a Nephilim update, which is we're going to wrap it up with. And the reason why you want to be on Twitch is because I've noticed a lot of the Nephilim updates are gearing towards that gaming world. There's a lot of Nephilim going on in the gaming world. So we'll wrap it up with that.
Nephilim update.
Engadget.com. Help humans and aliens live in peace in XCOM Chimera Squad. This is the in 2016, XCOM 2 players saved the world from armies of alien colonizers who used humans as psionic meat puppets. When the leaders of the invasion fled, they abandoned hordes of their own soldiers on Earth, forcing an uneasy truce among humans and the aliens left behind. A new standalone game from Firaxis, XCOM Chimera Squad, is set 5 years into this new world. The bustling region of City 31 is meant to be a bastion of peaceful coexistence, but underground movements opposed to interspecies mingling, what's that sound like, are threatening its stability. Chimera Squad is an elite troop of human and alien agents whose mission is to shut down the groups bent on enticing chaos in the city. And there you have it, right there.
Enticing chaos.
Enticing chaos, and the political landscape of the day in this XCOM game is the hybridization of aliens and humans. The thing that that God destroyed the earth over, basically.
Yeah, that whole Noah thing. Yeah, that's why. Yeah. So there you go. Now, that's a great jumping off point, and I know you got to go pick up the baby, so we're going to wrap up the show here. But I want to thank some people who made the switch to Twitch. We got LJ's Mom 70, Babu Mega Hammer, thank you, YXLII, welcome, Xdershin, Chris coming to fruition today. You can head to patreon.com/CCNT. That's for Canary Cry News Talk. It's patreon.com/CCNT.